Every step in the journey is a sacred step indeed. Just put one foot in front of the other, and you'll have everything you need.
So I'm like, okay, I must be dying. This is the end of my life. And then all of a sudden, I like for like 4 hours, I'm on top of this, like just so sick. And then like, I don't know, I think trying to remember 11:45 on Monday night, it hit. The chills, the heat, the flashes, the death, the just killer shit. And then I went the whole next day, I was sick, pretty sick. And then I had these breakthroughs where all of a sudden the DNA started merging with itself. And I was just screaming and pounding, no, no, no. And I was like, I could feel the dolphin code like trying to swim down. And I could feel this death code under here gripping the dolphin code, and the dolphin code gripping the death code. And this just, and then I could see the earth, and I'm just like, holy fuck. And Frank's trying to sleep next to me, and I'm just going, oh, ah, ee, oh, because the dolphins are sound code. And the only way they can make any kind of rehabilitation is through sound. So they're just like, the dogs and dolphins and sounds. And I'm trying to go in the other room not to wake up Frank. And I pretty much made my dolphin sounds like into the pillow. And finally, I was breathing. After 3 hours, I could get the same breath through the reptilian and the dolphin genetics. They merged, and I was able to breathe one breath up through here, and I fell asleep. And then every night since Monday, last night was this just massive impasse zone in my solar plexus. And last night's when I realized, oh my God, I'm actually changing the trajectory of the earth. That's what's happening right here. And that's why I chose this. That's why I chose to have my mom kill me in the womb, basically, just by drinking Bailey's Irish cream, and I could not handle any kind of sugar. And so I left the body and went all the way back to unity. And then I was slammed back into the embryo. And that's what set up a containment field, because that was such an agony. It set up a restrainer wall that would last for 56 years, so that my aquafari and my reptilian genetic code would stay apart. And then 56 years later, in 2020, the merger would be forced by the sun, the codes from the sun. And so we are going home, honey, we are going home. This is resurrection codes. I mean, I don't know. Hallelujah, right? Dante says 20 years the earth ascends. No, I don't believe it. No, it feels like we're pulling all the anchors off right now. Okay, that's my stumbling in diarrhea of the mouth update from the hardcore light worker in fucking hell. Boots on the ground on planet Earth, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that. Like, I mean, yeah, you said diary of the mouth, diary of the
It
mouth.
could be diary of the mouth.
Diary
One part I wanted to tell you. You remember how June 23rd I woke up, and I think we had a meeting that same week, and I saw that great penis, right? And the great fist and all that. I learned what that was. Okay, when Hashteput was on the earth, and I don't know the exact dates.
But 1 second, hold on to that thought, Hashteput.
Yeah.
I know that we're starting with like a heart check-in.
Yes.
We keep hitting on amazing shit because we're amazing.
Hi, honey.
Would you Do you want to press record now, or are we still doing?
Yeah, we are recording now.
Oh, good. Oh,
But
yay.
I missed some of it, but here's the really
I'm
cool.
Hashteput. Okay.
Yeah, so I got to get all the dates on this. But you remember how I was literally saying my signal's doing all kinds of shit? Let me plug in my Ethernet and stop swearing. No more swearing. Come on now. Okay. So
Fucking swear.
I don't know if they throw you off YouTube when you swear,
Oh,
if we ever want to list it.
There's
Anyway,
not-
so
we should, yeah, we could include
or Facebook, so I have to like
of all
practice
the
my
stuff.
ladylike manners while I'm bridging Armageddon, future Earth. Okay. So I don't know if you saw my Facebook page, but I had these two quotes that are pretty funny. I said we were not meant to die on re-entry. We were meant to bring the medicine. Right? That was one of my quotes. And then the other one of my quotes, oh, what the hell's wrong with my signal right now? Anyway, the other quote was, I think my stunt double definitely needs a pay raise. Oh, wait, I don't have one. That was funny. But anyway, so
on that, like out, answering the question, what's happening to me? Like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? And then as I describe what's happening to me, like these psychic downloads are coming through, and it's like, oh, other people like might benefit from knowing like what my Andromeda past lives were like. So I mean, how does that feel for you? Because I'm resonating a little bit on that. Like, maybe
well, yeah, I mean, that's why. So, on the human level, this is all about, for me, embodiment. I remember my friend who channels the angels, she said, you're going to have to ground the fullness of who you are and your essence into this body before you're going to be able to express or be received by anyone. And so, right, I set it up so that I would not be expressed or received until I was 56 years of age, because that's when I would hit the point when the earth was ready for the merger of those two different species DNA. See, I brought in two species DNA in 1965 at a time when there was no way Andromedan DNA could exist on the earth, right? So it had to be in a holding tank for 56 years until it was ready to merge into my human reptilian genetic code. And it started in 2013. It started the merger. It started trickling in 2009. Then it had another in 2013. I had another little one in 2014. It's just been trickling. But I gotta say, on the night of June 29th, there was no trickle. It was forced merger. And I've had this dream of an angel on the toilet, and I realize now that's the angelic DNA hitting the merger with the reptilian DNA. And see, so there's two things that are coming up just in this very beginning part to talk about. One is that, do you remember on June 26th, I said, okay, the playing field is opening up. It's a new playing field. It's never been on Earth. And I was trying to describe that it was opening up access, and the resurrection codes, like the semen of the resurrection codes, were unleashed on this brand new creation. Found out what that means. Okay. Hashteput in his time succeeded in bringing the Christos to the earth at the 5th dimensional level. Akenaten in his time served to bring the Christos to the earth at the 7th dimensional level. Jeshua in his time brought the Christos blueprint embodiment at the 9th dimensional. We just now, on the summer solstice, and June 23rd was the anchoring day, anchored the Christos template for the 11th dimension. There has never been a more complex and majestic Christos template on our Earth, ever. And I don't know if, or in any galaxy, I don't even know if it's been anchored anywhere at this 11D level. But yeah, so that's what I learned, which was it. I love how Lisa Renee and the Syrian Guardians, they give me the exact science to the experiences that I'm having that I have no words for, you know. That I'm like, what the heck? It's a new thing. It's a brand new thing. Yeah, it is. It's a brand new thing. It's the 11th dimensional Christos template right here, right now. We did it, you know, and so, and there was something else that I was going to tell you, but I totally spaced it. Anyway, love, I feel like that's a lot. I've just been downloading a lot, so wanted to give you a chance to, yeah.
So that's kind of how it expanded a little bit more, was I kind of had these questions about what you shared, so I'm okay with it.
Oh, the Nephalim. Okay, so I've got to tell you about the Nephalim Grid and the Nephalim Project. So the Nephalim Project, so when the Unity races and the Guardians of love and of God that didn't want to see any species left behind, they could see that the reptilians on Earth were creating such degeneration in their own DNA that there was an actual danger that the species of humanity would become extinct. And because the genome was getting more and more corrupted, and but the reptilians were bringing this total corruption by being too mentalized and losing the heart, losing the connection to the emotional body. And I think my energy is too wacky for the EMFs. That's why my signal's doing all kinds of weird things. But so what happened was the Guardians and the Ra family, like the Law of One, the Councils of One, the Councils of the Godhead, the Christos, Melchizedek's said, oh my gosh, we got to do something. We've got to do something to rehabilitate this reptilian DNA, because it is ruining everything, right? It's going to take us straight to hell on Earth if we don't go in there and help rehabilitate the DNA. So we created this rehabilitation. I'm going to just turn my freaking video off for a minute. We created this rehabilitation plan, which, if had been allowed to do its magic, would have slowly brought in the angelic, the aquafarian, all the higher DNAs would have come in, were meant to merge, were seeded to merge with the reptilian lower DNA and assist it in rehabilitation. And by the age of, everything was perfectly timed. I mean, this is, the Nephalim Project was immaculate. It was perfect. It would have unfolded in this beautiful way. By age 33, everyone would be in Christ consciousness, because the rehabilitation would occur like age 9, age 12, like literally bringing the reptilian DNA back into the sacred marriage configuration, piece by piece by piece, until the multidimensional DNA was all the way back to Christic union at like age 33. Well, it was a beautiful project, but the rogue reptilians said, up yours. We don't want to merge with your DNA. We're more pure than you are. And so they had total connection to really incredible technologies, and they created a Nephalim Reversal Grid, which basically was, I'll just give the finger. It was basically like this to the Nephalim Project. right? They basically said, we're going to undo everything you're trying to do, you know, because we're more pure than you. We don't want your help. You know, that arrogance is part of the lower mind, right? The first thing that happens is arrogance, narcissism. I mean, look at Trump. He's a perfect example. So you've got this sending love and rehabilitation to him too. He's going through a lot of suffering right now. His numbers are definitely not doing well. Probably going to resign. Praise God. Anyway, so
frequency.
yeah.
Every single inch of high frequency energy to Donald Trump.
I know, my God. And so the Nephalim Reversal Grid, what it did, so I'll try to like show this with my hands. So you have this, let's just say you have the angelic DNA on this side, and you have the rogue reptilian damaged, you know, deadening code that's really broken on this side. And the Nephalim Reversal Grid, what it did was how to describe this? It hyper masculinized and spun the masculine away from the feminine so that there could be no merger. So instead of having it move towards itself and rehabilitate itself little by little by little, it made it go like this. Repellent. It created this huge repellent between this huge split between the higher and the lower so that it could never merge. And then it created a 5D, 2D split between the throat and the sacral chakra so that the high could never touch the low. They put many things in place so that this could not happen. They put gender splitting technology in the DNA so that there would be this massive enemy patterning between the two sides. And basically it completely screwed our project. There was no we couldn't do the rehabilitation. And so beings like me, you know, came from the upper echelons of Andromeda and said, holy cow, we can't do the rehabilitation. You know, we had to have a plan B. If we can't do it the way that we created the Nephalim Project in this beautiful, loving rehabilitation, we're going to have to take all of, how can I say it? We're going to have to do it any way we can. We're going to have to get the medicine to the reptilian code any way we can. And so the only way available was to incarnate beings from different species themselves and force the merger as the earth could be ready. And it wasn't going to be a gentle merger. It was going to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Maybe you'll live through it. Maybe you won't merger. Because we were in enemy territory that wasn't receptive to the rehabilitation. So and the only way I think to do it for me as a guardian, excuse me, host of this mission, one of the guardian hosts, was to incarnate into a future timeline where the earth was completely taken over by AI and where Armageddon, the reptilians had taken it to the furthest degree of disconnect from source that had ever been recorded, and go into that lifetime and live it in the future, then come back to this present moment with that lifetime inside my body of all the AI, of my etheric levels. I still have like 60% metal in the etheric of my solar plexus and my right leg. My brain was massively metallic all through the higher dimensional levels from that timeline where they hijacked all the deviant kingdoms of Earth and took them into Armageddon. Borg, mind control, collective mind, computer systems. And we were plugged into those systems and held captive in the machine. So that was my timeline. I was like, okay, if I'm going to get the real rogue DNA and the aquafari, you know, super high love unity frequency together, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into a lifetime like that and grab all the degenerated, all the broken DNA at its worst. And I'm going to take it, and the earth being connected to that version of itself in the future is creating a huge weight on it so that it's very hard for it to ascend. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, or I'm going to rescue two birds with one beautiful medicine. I'm going to get that heavy weight off the earth by making that timeline extinct. I'm going to make that timeline extinct because I'm going to bring it into my now self. And I'm going to, as Sarah Hope Adams in this lifetime, you know, after killing myself in 12 lifetimes before this, I'm going to succeed in bringing the darkness in with the light. Right? And so the darkness and the light are right there. And now we've got what they wanted in the Nephalim program, but we've got it at an archetypal level. We're taking it at a planetary scale, the darkness with the light. And now here we are. The earth in 2020 is strong enough to handle this merge. And my psyche, because of 36 and a half years of dark night of the soul, is strong enough to handle this merge without going completely psychotic and ending up in a mental institution with no way to help anybody in a grounded 3D way, no way to lead anybody out of anywhere, because I would be crazy, you know, not coherent at all. So I don't know. So that's what this is like. The Nephalim Project is getting through my body. And other extreme sports light workers are doing the same thing. These are the extreme sport light workers that take on the Indigo 3 contracts of merging Armageddon future with the angelic and making it extinct. And then creating the rehabilitation, enabling two species to exist in one body, and being able to hold the earth literally in our bodies, in our wombs, and pull her into the trajectory of ascension.
That was my next question for you. I wanted to ask how your second chakra is doing right now.
Well, that's where the split is. Last night I spent 4 hours with my hand just going through metal and absolute impasse zone in my belly button. So I feel nothing below my belly button, pretty much, because the impasse zone is right above the belly button and at the belly button level. So, I mean, that'll be the telltale sign when I can have any sexual energy for myself. That'll mean that the higher DNA is actually winning. But right now we're duking it out. The wall, the impasse zone is so thick and dense. You know, it's taking everything I have just to keep breathing. But I am breathing. This morning I broke through it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up dying in the throes of death, just couldn't breathe, complete impasse, cut off. And for 4 hours, I sat there doing surgery on myself. Couldn't go to sleep because I knew they'd suck me right back in. So I just stayed up, vigilant on the impasse zone. I've been working on the impasse zone since 1999. So not knowing exactly what it was or what it meant. It wasn't until 2000, I think, 11 that Lisa told me about my Indigo 3 contract. No, it was 2015. My right leg went numb. I mean, really pretty numb.
What is an Indigo 3 contract?
Yeah, an Indigo 3 contract is when you go into an Armageddon future and you bring it back to this now timeline and you transform that future, you make it extinct so that it no longer affects the earth.
And then you were saying also, like, as light workers, the blockages that we do in our own energy bodies are pertinent to other patterns out in the earth field. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we're all portals, and to the extent of where our consciousness travels and is able to travel, we're working at that level. And for me, I'm an ambassador to the earth. I've existed as her logos. So I was part of her logos that created her. I can easily tap into her field, and she into my, and have my body be a proxy. I came here to accompany her. Literally, that's my number one purpose for incarnating, was to accompany and assist the earth through ascension.
So when you do like diary type things and like sharing out like what's happening in your body, energy, and mind, it just so happens that as a light worker, you're already so attuned, or you've just like been put in the position that you're kind of in alignment with aspects of planet Earth. So there's like a sort of a birthing quality where you're um, excavating your own truth, but also administering teachings at the same time. So in a way, like you have a mandate to describe and fully explain to us all like what is happening to you. Does that sound right?
In a way, I mean, yeah, it's also, it's, I'll put speaker view so we can see us getting big when we talk. It's also just like plain old survival. To stay sane at the human level is to make the reports. It's like captain's log, start date, July 2nd, 2020. Holy shit, what's happening here? I see asteroids, I see comets, the ship's going down, it's shaking, it's moving, right? I mean, these logs are getting on Facebook Live, almost daily, or every time I go through a huge thing, it's like my connection with 3D Earth and my human body, because I work it so much out there in the galaxy that it's easy to feel very ungrounded. So my real only way, sometimes when I'm really working it out there, my only way to connect to humans is making videos and having people hop on Facebook and talk to me. And I'm like, oh, and like Wendy's like, good morning, Sarah. And Tristan's like, nice to see you, Sarah. And I'm speaking all this stuff, which would have me be certifiably insane by 85% of the population. And people are just right there listening, going, wow, yeah. And then other light workers in different groups that are also veil lifters, way showers of a similar caliber to me are saying, yeah, we did this last night. Yeah, we did this last night, right? And we all have pieces of this massive rehabilitation of the Christos. Like everybody's got it. Like, it's like, the joke about the elephant, like they're describing his trunk and his foot and his tail, and they're all like closing their eyes, and what they touch is what the elephant is, has a long, funny, fleshy thing with a fluffy plume at the end. That's the elephant. And then the other guy's like, oh, the elephant has this weird kind of curvy thing that has all these wrinkles in it, right? And that's the trunk. And so it's like the entire elephant. So we've got like billions. Let me see if I get a good number on that. We've got billions working on the elephant right now in some respect, right? Everyone is pulling, the frontline way showers are in surgery. They are working this grid because we have been under an invasion by a really dark force, which is time to be done. So everybody on the crew is doing their specialty, right? If your specialty is washing the elephant's underbelly, then that's what you're doing. If your specialty, I don't know why I'm using this metaphor, but it's like we all have our specialties, and we're all being called in as like special service agents to assist at our specialty level. And my specialty level is this midwife of Gaia. I came here for her. I also came here as a human to have the experience through these karmic lifetimes, and to be able to write home about it and go, wow, look what happened on planet Earth. My human self wanted to have the experience, but the galactic self was like, I'm going down for mom. We're going to give I'm going to give her everything I can so she can make this ascension. And we're going to do it together. I'm going to have my body death spelled in this final lead up to planetary ascension. I'll be ripping the death spell off. I'll be coming due on the Nephalim merger. I'll, transforming Armageddon future. My Indigo 3 contract will hit. I'll have a nervous breakdown in 1983 at age 18, which will begin the entire mission with Earth. It just, I set it all up. This would be the lifetime where all of it comes due to lift the veils, because we are in the time of her resurrection. She's being freed from bondage, and it's an amazing time. I just want to live through it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hear you on so much of that and resonate in my own way. And yeah, it sounds like it's an incredibly grief-filled and ungrounding time for all of us on this planet. And yet it reminds me of this quote. What you shared reminds me of this quote by indigenous wisdom keeper Martin Brechtel. And he says,
Oh, Martin Brechtel, yes.
if you're a singer and you need to make songs, make different songs, energized by being alive again after your grief, molting. If you're a painter, paint. If you're a dancer, dance. If you're a farmer, plant. Just don't assume that you can use what you sincerely gave to the seed, for that is sending it all to market. So we all have this abundant, outflowing creativity that is our natural healing response to this stimulus that we're all being given. And so if those of us who are yogis or healers or light workers or artists, if we begin transmitting, it's not a form of, it's not that it's a form of posturing. It's really, or it's not that it's a form of like arbitrarily creating content. It's partially a survival, like you said. I mean, that resonates with me. It's like I receive energy by being in situations such as what we're doing now. It's what animates me. It's what connects me to source. Even just witnessing somebody's ascension journey and asking questions and teasing out information, interpreting dreams, running yoga class, my own energy body. That all resonates with me. It's like we're each, you say, we're each working on this elephant, and so it feels like this massive both hands, like massive activation, like all hands on deck, and all the activation and all the countless years of study are being pushed in right now. It's like a moment. So I hope you on all those things, all those things, and really helps answer the question for me about. And I don't know if it's a feminine mode of being or if it's some sort of 40 mode of being, but I'm still hung up over this thing about it's not, we're not like, in some of the transmissions, it's like memoir, like it's diary, like it's the personal is cosmic, the personal is mythical. So by describing like, oh my gosh, like my heart chakra is just like, it's just like quivering, like, and I just can't, like, I feel like awful, and just sort of tracking that data and bringing it out to sort of explain. Yeah, I felt the same thing last night. I was playing music because I fell asleep, and I was just sort of having these dreams of like this elusive entity, compassionate entity who's sort of overseeing, who's sort of trying to orchestrate some of this. And it's somewhere, maybe it's the spirit of Gaia, because it's somewhere in between the maiden and the mother. Like you look, like I look, and I like you can't really see. It keeps shifting, over the threshold from like maiden to mother, maiden to mother, maiden, and like that really feels like flickering vision of where planet Earth is at, and so it's a non-binary, chameleon entity of sort of threshold. You know, all the threshold entities are with us right now, it feels.
Yeah, for sure. It's
I've witnessed what you shared and then like wove in some of my own
oh, I
experiences.
love it. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how we've been unraveling and liberating so many parts of the feminine, you know, the cosmic solar feminine of the Christos, and that's been a big, big focus. We did work on the healing of the masculine rod function, and we've done a lot for the masculine, but I find it quite interesting that it's the Christos, it's the masculine version of the Christos that is leading the way. It's definitely the first to incarnate, and the feminine is coming up right beneath it, you know, like right with it, but it's the masculine that's coming first. And oh, but yeah, I mean, in the I love the word, you know, for the big beautiful word for the ascended template of the Christ is Christos Sophia. And so it's such a beautiful word, you know, you've got the Christos, the masculine, and then you've got the Sophia. And the masculine is the architecture, and the Sophia is the sound and light codes that infuse the architecture. So it's a very beautiful blending of the rising earth. And
That
yeah.
fascinates me. I'm very much interested in exploring um, the full polarity of some of these energies. I don't really work with the Christos frequency that much, but Christos Sophia, I've been working with more on my yoga side. You know, so Dalai Lama did the first ever YouTube empowerment. Working empowered, you know, anybody who studies the YouTube video, it's about 3 hours long, with the Avalokiteshvara, which is probably just kind of like a earth-based Buddhist technology for
I love that word, Avalokiteshvara.
yeah. And then you have him and Tara as two facets of the same entity. They're just like Christos Sophia. I'm like that's following me around. I'm tracking that very closely right now as a dream worker.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Victor Victoria, you like some of that energy.
Hey, darling, sometimes your sound is a little unclear. Do you have headphones?
I
Wonder if
do. Yeah, I'm not sure what.
let's try that. I'm not sure. I think it's just maybe it's signal
Yeah,
glitchiness or something.
let me get my headphones one second.
Okay. Okay, I'm coming back here. I love your music.
Can I
It's
sing you
like
a
the
song?
waiting room. Yeah, sing me a song.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's just Phillip Glass. I've been working on bringing my songs out more.
Cool.
This is a mermaid song from Argentina. I just had a lot of coffee, so my voice is kind of dry, but I'll do my best for you today.
Okay.
Hola, la marana que lame el mar. Su pequeña huella no vuelve más.
Pretty.
Un sendero solo de pena y silencio llegó hasta el agua profunda. Un sendero solo de penas mudas llegó hasta las tumbas. Sabe Dios que angustia te acompañó, que dolores viejos cayó tu voz, para recostarte arrullada en el canto de las caracolas marinas. La canción que canta en el fondo oscuro del mar, la caracola. Te vas a Alfonsina con tu soledad. ¿Qué poema nuevo fuiste a buscar? Una voz antigua de viento y de sal. Para quebrar, ya le está llevando y te vas hacia allá como un sueño, dormida Alfonsina, vestida de mar. 5 sirenitas te llevarán. 5 mermaids will take you home. Por camino de alga y de coral, algae and coral paths. Y fosforescentes caballos marinos harán una ronda a
Seahorses.
tu lado, making circles around you. Y los habitantes del agua van a jugar pronto a tu lado. Bájame la lámpara un poco más. Now she's getting ready to die. Déjame que
Oh.
duerme nodriza en paz. Y si llama a él, no le digas que estoy. Dile que Alfonsina no vuelve. Y si llama a él, no le digas nunca que estoy. Y que me... Te vas, Alfonsina, con tu soledad. ¿Qué poema nuevo fuiste a buscar? Una voz antigua de viento y de sal. Te requebrará, ya le está llevando y te vas hacia allá como un sueño, dormida Alfonsina, vestida del mar.
Oh.
You go, Alfonsina, in your solitude. What new poems are you looking for? An ancient voice, a voice of wind and salt, possesses your soul and takes you away. And you go all the way out, just like in dreams, sleeping, Alfonsina, dressed up as the ocean.
Oh my gosh. So it goes, if God calls or if somebody calls, don't tell them that what did that part say?
She says, turn the lamp down, dim the lamp for me just a little bit more. Let me sleep, my nurse, my caretaker. And if he calls, don't tell him that I'm here. Tell him Alfonsina is never coming back. And if he calls, don't tell him that I'm here. Tell him I've gone.
Oh, wow. To the ocean.
Gone to the ocean to be with the seahorses and crabs and dreams and poems.
Oh.
Very poignant aquafarian anthem.
Very poignant, very beautiful. What a lovely voice you have. I've never heard it singing.
Yeah, I don't sing for my friends as much as I could.
Oh, I like it. Oh my gosh.
It's so lovely to sing.
It
for
would be
people.
fun to sing that one back and forth.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
La, la,
yeah.
la,
You can,
la, la, because I think it's pretty much my range.
oh yeah. Yeah. D minor. Yeah, or we could just do light language in D minor.
Let's do it. Light language in D minor. Soy un mermaid, como se dice mermaid en español.
The Zoom can get weird with this whole transmission of double of
I
duet.
know. How do you say mermaid in Spanish? Sorry for interrupting.
Sirena.
Sirena, that's right.
Like
La
siren.
sirena, na, 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 ra, 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 ra.
Yeah, it's a beautiful energy. So yeah, that's some of my flavors that I've been working with and dreaming. Yeah, so much emotional release, so much like personal change, and there's so much positive change available to me. And kind of like you, as I release these concepts that I didn't even know, this And you know, I work with other modalities other than light work, so I don't always use like interplanetary lingo. But
Right.
as
Totally.
I discover these old programs that have been running inside of me, and suddenly they're releasing, it's very uncomfortable. It's extremely
Oh.
uncomfortable, but like but it feels like it's on this transcendent path, and yeah, it's like important to take care, and like the things that I'm doing are like kind of caring for other people, like sending out messages and you know, bringing attention to the light. So I have a pod, kind of like a pod of dolphins, but it's a pod of dream, dream work colleagues. Yeah, and we exchanged dreams via email, and we created a word map out of some of our recent dreams, and we turned the word map into a mantra. And so if we choose to upload this and other people are enjoying this conversation, or even just now, you could enjoy this dream-based mantra that we made up called Wonder, Both and Simultaneous. I'm doing it. So
Wonder, both and simultaneous. I'm doing it.
it's like riding a bike next to a volcano. That's how it is for me.
Oh my God, that's great. That's great.
So those are some reflections.
I love it. Oh,
I see we're coming up to 60 minutes, and so I think it's time for me to make some lunch soon, but
yeah, we're going camping, so we're getting all
oh,
our
cool.
stuff together.
Well, I'll play my third eye.
Yes.
Oh, for you if you want to close.
Yes, that would be
Yeah?
beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Invoking the wisdom of the third eye.
May we have clear sight and clear vision.
Absolutely.
Feet on the ground and head in the stars, keeping our beautiful dreams alive and making them manifest through full spectrum embodiment of love on earth embodied.
So be it. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sarah.
sweetie.
Yeah, until next time.
Till next time.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
great time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye, sweetie. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.